yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open. I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God, you been through enough, I would say. Energy different, the frequency change. My third eye is open, I don't see the same. I am not playing, I don't rap in the game. I am my affirmation manifest. My third eye is open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God, you done been through enough, I would say. Energy different, the frequency change. My third eye is open, I don't see the same. I am not playing, I don't rap in the game. I am my affirmation manifest. My third eye is open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. God, you done been through enough, I would say. Energy different, the frequency change. My third eye is open, I don't see the same. I am not playing, I don't rap in the game. I am my affirmation manifest.
Peace, 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 family.
Peace, family.
Big energy, you already know the vibes. Shadowwork Sundays. We're here once again. As always, much gratitude to the family, much gratitude to the tribe. You know what I'm saying? Gratitude to our ancestors. You know what I mean? And like I said, we're here once again. And so this episode is actually about the shift from duality to divinity. And so we're gonna definitely tap in. You know, this will definitely be a podcast episode. And so we're gonna start off with the heart chakra singing bowl, as we do per usual, to open up our heart space so you can get into a meditative state, or you have a certain type of breath work that you actually normally do, then it's time to tap in on that. And currently I have my goddess playing the singing bowl. I got something going on with my neck, still trying to figure out. So I'm grateful for her presence, right now. So let's make it happen. I say.
Man, does it every time.
Yeah, much gratitude, baby. I apologize, family. I didn't turn that beat off. I just noticed that the beat is still playing for the singing bowl. And so
wasn't the worst thing. Gave like a little, vibe to the tone.
I say. So I was trying to think how we should start this. Yeah, let's start it off with the song. So we're actually gonna start this episode off with Divine Intervention. This is King Manifest Kakalil of a 223 project. This is a heart space record, and as you know, the tribe already know this is a heart space environment. You know what I'm saying? Every subject that we speak on is about many different things, but we are definitely coming from the heart space and focused on getting connected and being balanced and becoming one and aligning and being open to the heart space. You know what I'm saying?
Want a tongue twister? This is a heart space. This is a heart space, safe place.
You hear me? I say. So let's get into it. So this is called Divine Intervention. This record is about a reflection of self. You know what I'm saying?
Sometimes
Get tired of talking to people. Maybe you ain't got nobody to talk to. You gotta talk to yourself. What is love? I was afraid of love. So much fear. I didn't believe in love. Not at all. Till I waited for love to come. Show up, please show up. I wanna cry like a baby. I'm tired of being grown up outside of the trauma. Do anybody know us? At times I ain't wanna feel, I would go numb. It's fight night with my shadow. Do I rather win the war or the battle? Wisdom. I ain't fighting, I'ma go within and talk to spirit with no offense. See my reflection, this elevation, coming through these lessons. Know thyself, so I test me. I can tell you that I love you, cause I love me. Peace. I say. I'm in a place where I'm in flow state, flowing through my heart space, doing everything through my heart space. I'm loving through my heart space. I'm correcting through my heart space, holding people accountable through my heart space, and also being the purest me, and healing myself through my heart space.
Hey. Heart space integration for every sensation in my major nation. Is it safe to say the darkness is where you become creation? Sometimes I fantasize of a life where I used to beat myself up over things I wasn't changing till I made the change in my pocket. My ego told me to spend my 2 cents with people who block it. They owned abundant situations. I realized I was stopping myself from my own growth like a plant in clay pot. I started talking to my higher self. I had to make the connection. Like every time I had a choice to make, I cloud my perspective. I manifest introspection. I had to go within while I am within the circumstances that led me to natural selection. I'm not supposed to pick a side within like an election, even though I'm presidential with what I'm presenting. That's why I move pressured in and now we call that present tense. When that's your time, linebackers hold me get defensive. I was about, I didn't even know I had a cosmic mission. Couldn't see to my peripheral, just like I'm London T. I've been tripped, thought running from problems was the way to finish. I've been missing. I was walking pigeon-toed into a hole, I ain't know I was dead. This that divine intervention. See, when I take the time to heal, I'm tracking all types of dimensions of old souls from down high and up low for protection. And just to talk and relate some questions with uploadable messages. Like how can I use my heart to talk to me more? How can I go use my heart to open and close doors? How can I put up my heart when they took it on tour? How can I use my heart to pick me off the floor? They told me, son, your implications, you can grow it more. And some more, and some more, and some more and more. Sing some mantra saying young and sing it from your core. Inhale and exhale to breathe in life's reward.
I say.
Another one. Peace, God. To Kai in the building.
Man, wholeness, family. Big I say energy, man. As a little bro, man, you know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I'm saying? For those that don't know, you feel me?
Y'all got a real chemistry on the track, man. I'm telling you. Y'all
man,
are the best.
It's the spirit, the alignment, you know what I'm saying? And divine, and I don't want to say divine timing. I'm going to just say, you know what I'm saying? It's just divine alignment. So, face red, heart shape, face.
No, I think it's
on. It's her emojis.
Yeah,
okay. Yeah, I was like, mama dropping some gems on her. I was trying to, you know what I mean?
Speaking of heart code.
No, for sure. So peace, mama. You know, since Shadow Work Sundays, mama is in the building.
Peace.
You know, so y'all already know the vibes. You know, Big Soul Tribe vibes. Once again, much gratitude to the family, and let's get it. You know what I'm saying? It's just that's what we're here for. So we're gonna start off with talking about from a nigga to a king to a god, and that is actually something that I spoke on. I kind of like spoke on this for the first time, should I say, on Seven Circles. I had an interview with Seven Circles, and he asked me a few questions, and I kind of spoke about this, and then sorry about that. And then me and Julio obviously have had many episodes, and we've spoke about this plenty of times. Yep. And so we're going to start off with that. And so from a nigga to a king to a god, that is from duality to divinity. Especially for neuromelanated people, because we come from this nigga mentality, which is the root chakra aspect, where we live in fear, anxiety, very passionate people, but through fear and anxiety, passion makes us kill each other and fight each other and hate each other, and it's always drama in our families, and we come from that nigga mentality. You know, when somebody's doing better than you, you want it for yourself. Naturally jealous, low vibrational.
Say he got that dog in him.
You know
Type of energy.
Exactly. You know, and so we was taught that. You know what I'm saying? It's not like, you know what I mean. We always taught that. We all come from that, and we come from a place where that's called real.
Yeah,
this nigga mentality is like real. You know
it's almost like a badge.
Exactly. And when you gravitate from that, then you become fake. And they call you, they say you acting different. But the point I'm making is in that place we're really broken. And that's when our shadow was taking over us. And when we're moving through our shadow and we're doing things to fight our shadow. So we have certain addictions, whether it's drugs or it's food or it's certain people. We have certain addictions that actually help us to maintain that and to feed that part of ourselves. And then they obviously feed it through the music and through the shows. And it's something that's happening right now. It seems like a real trend. Songs about bad relationships and F that nigga, F that B, you know, and it's like a real thing. And that's that nigga mentality that they're pushing on us. You know what I'm saying? And so that same mentality is pushed on us by our families. You see what I'm saying? And so we have to become grounded, and we have to really connect, and we really have to do real deep shadow work to understand, why do I have these fears? Why do I have this anxiety? Why do I look at, you know, my people this certain way, and analyze it and really connect? You know what I'm saying? Because that's the nigga in us. The nigga in us don't think. They're very reactive. The nigga in us is a survivor. You know, we've always had to survive. You know what I'm saying? We've been through this, we've been through that. You know what I'm saying? And so niggas respect niggas that been through hell.
Yeah.
But niggas hate.
Almost like the more pain that you've been through, the more, you know, respect that you get, or, you know, the higher you're looked at. So yeah, that's a fact.
And then they hate on you when you come up. And they say you should like, bro, I thought the whole point of all this was for us to grow.
Or let you not have struggle for it. It's just like, nah, you ain't even, you know, you have to struggle for that. And it's,
you know what I'm saying?
That's a thing, bro. That's just the thing for sure.
You know, and all of us have honestly moved in it subconsciously, some kind of way.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because we come from that. We come from that, you know, that place. You know what I'm saying? Of no structure. And so to move out of the nigga mentality, we have to go to the heart space. We have to go into a place of love. And so that's when that you alchemize the energy, and, you know, through that shadow work in your root chakra, and you become balanced, and you bring all that stuff like I talked about a few episodes ago. It's in the air, and you bring it all down to one where you can see everything. You bring it down to a level playing field. You see what I'm saying? And now you go around, and if you connect with your heart space, you go around and you feel each space, each object, each moment, each situation. Now you can feel. Now you're not moving from a nigga mentality where you're reactive, where I'm not reactive, in the survival mentality where it's like, you know what I'm saying, somebody out to get me type of mentality. You see what I'm saying? And so we move into that Godhead, which is the crown. And I'm really going through this real fast because this is kind of like just an opening of the show, of the real what we got to talk about. And so you get into that God aspect, like I said, which is the crown. That crown aspect, like I said, is the guidance. Now you can see. You know what I'm saying? So we feel, so we become grounded, we feel, and then we actually are open to our guidance, to be able to receive and give guidance. You know what I'm saying? Our crown, we're able to receive information and be able to give information from a guided perspective.
That's sure.
You see what I'm saying? And so with that being said, the metaphysical or the cosmic aspect of that, or the process of that, is what we're about to talk about now. So I don't know if anyone is familiar with the oversoul. So we know we have a soul. We talk about our higher self a lot, but I'm not sure if we know what the oversoul is. So we're going to talk a lot tonight about the oversoul. So the oversoul is consciousness or understanding which vibrates above a soul contract or an agreement of evolving. So the oversoul is almost like one of the most, this is one of the most divine, purest parts of you, the highest aspects of you, your oversoul. The oversoul is holding a large picture and the energy energy patterns above and beyond all lessons. So whereas your higher self is only operating in the rooms that you operate in. You see what I'm saying? Your like I said before, your oversoul is one of your highest aspects. So we all have an oversoul, which is like the orchestra leader or the vibrational sound energy that holds the light in place for our higher self. So the oversoul is a guide to our higher self in many aspects. You see what I'm saying? The oversoul is what feeds our higher self life and keeps our higher self balanced. Because the oversoul is honestly disconnected from karma. You know what I mean? But our higher self and our higher self is there to help us balance out our karma and to fight with and to merge with our shadow. But our oversoul is almost like a parent.
That's a good analogy.
You know,
and when I hear oversoul, that makes me think of, you know, like a part of our soul that's more intertwined with the collective. Like it's almost like you know, we all know that we're all connected, but it's almost like the oversoul could be like the soul of, you know, all souls. You know, it's kind of like that layer of being where, like you said, it kind of makes it possible for us to be. It's deep, actually. I think that you're bringing that up because we're talking about from duality to divinity. But, you know, I think what you just described is almost like, from my intuition, when I hear you describe that, it's like bringing a unified consciousness that creates the individual, like, you know, like the oversoul that more than likely is like the, like, not, I wouldn't say a group soul, but it's like a large soul kind of that contains all souls, you know, but it makes it possible for us to be individuals. So I think that's deep.
Yeah, I've heard.
With this being the topic.
No, I say, my brother. So let's keep digging a little bit and set the foundation. So our oversoul feeds our higher self information and keeps our higher self in balance at all times. You know, and so it's kind of like it's like a parent. So our parents teach us and they keep us in balance with whatever they're in this realm is through consequence. You feel your parents. I ain't gonna do that because, but they also teach you things and keep. So it's like a parent, like I said, of our higher self. You know what I'm saying? That is a metaphor or an analogy. But your higher self is the soul's guidance and connection with the oversoul for the lifetime and the consciousness in which you are vibrating. So like I said earlier, your higher self only operates in the realm that you're operating in. You see what I'm saying? So wherever we are at and we're putting in the work and we're doing what we're doing, wherever we're omnipresent in the sense of like we're in all places at all times, but then it's like that present, that intentional presence.
Right.
Where like, cause like right now I can astral travel to 3 different places. You know what I'm saying? But in each of those places I go to, I may not be in full control, but one of those places I was actually in full control. See what I'm saying? That in that place I'm in full control, that's where my higher self is. Right there with me. You see what I'm saying?
That's deep.
Yeah, I feel like it needs to be said because we talk a lot about our higher self, and so we have to understand that the balance and the structure and the metaphysical law of the universe, they break down in certain ways that they're cheat codes. So once we understand that, okay, I have an oversoul. So how do I use this oversoul my oversoul to my benefit? And then also the whole planet, the whole collective has an oversoul. You see what I'm saying? So it's like these are different channels that we can tap into. It's just the information to say, you know what? Let me see what this is. Let me go within myself and see and connect with my oversoul and see what happens with me in my meditation and with my. You see what I'm saying? So that we can actually connect and we can break these karmic cycles faster, easier. You see what I'm saying? And at a longer time span. Because whenever we do shadow work and we break karmic cycles, we're breaking certain things like in certain time, in certain lifetimes, and certain things. We could be doing shadow work and breaking the karmic cycles only for this lifetime. You know, so
Sheesh.
you know, it's about how deep we're reaching and what we're connecting with when it comes to, like I said, this cosmic law or this this cosmic law of how things work in the universe. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, Ashe. And you know, I think you know, when we're talking about like that higher self and these, I guess these higher aspects, you know, people might be like, damn, I didn't know I had an oversoul. Like I'm trying to tap on my higher self and now I got an oversoul, you know, but I think you know, bringing up, I guess, the title of tonight's episode, from duality to divinity. You know, when we're talking about duality, you know, I guess we can get right into the duality conversation. When we're talking about duality, we're talking about. Matter of fact, you think we should run the.
We haven't did that. We tweaking. We got right into it.
Yeah, but it's funny how my brain works because it's like maybe I should define duality and you know, in perfect timing.
No, we here. Let's get it.
Everything on divine timing.
I say.
So duality is defined as an instance of opposition or contrast between two concepts or two aspects of something, a dualism. So run that back again, an instance of opposition or contrast between two concepts or two aspects of something. So it's, you know, like those two polar opposites. The etymology or the origin, it's coming from Latin in this case, twofold nature, state of being two or divided into. And again, that's from the late Latin dualitas, also from dualis.
But it's a twinfold nature.
Twofold, right?
A twofold, nature. State of being two and divided into. So it's separation. And we're talking about what, you know, if Kyle was on her right now, I have him say what? Wholeness. You know what I'm saying?
Wholeness, yeah.
Because that's the duality is the opposite of wholeness.
In divinity, definition, you know, pretty simply stated, the state or quality of being divine. So that's the state or quality of being divine. And the etymology of the origin of that is from the Latin divinitatum, from divinus, of God, of a God, I'm sorry, from divis, of or belonging to a God, inspired, prophetic, related to deus, which is God or deity. So that's deep. There was another part of the definition, the etymology I couldn't include, that was to shine, which I thought was interesting. I got interesting.
I like that.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah. I should have included that. It didn't give me space, but I should have made space. But yeah, to shine. But you know, on the topic of duality, you know, we live in obviously a dual reality. You know, to most things, there's that dual polarity. So, you know, there's hot and there's cold, there's good and there's bad, and so on and so forth. But I think when we're talking about going from duality to divinity, you know, some people, it might be like, you know, some people might say initially, what does duality have to do with divinity or spirituality in general? And I think, you know, it's important to know that when we're talking about divinity, a lot of the times we're talking about, like you spoke on, we're talking about wholeness. We're talking about unity. We're talking about, you know, source, which is the unifying factor for everything. You know, we all have our being in source, and everything we know is source. But when you are functioning solely from a dualistic perspective, you know, when you only see good and bad, duality can get tricky because it causes your mind to constantly judge things and to constantly either label something or put it in a certain category. You know, so it's just like, you know, and as people, you know, we subconsciously do that a lot. It's like if we see somebody, you know, they might do something like cut somebody off in traffic, and we're like, okay, that person's bad. You know, we have this nature to classify things as we experience it. You know, and they even spoke on this in scripture in the Bible when they say the light is in the, I think it was like Matthew something, but they say the light is in the eye. When the eye be single, your whole body is full of light. You know, I think they were trying to give a hint to this aspect of duality, in the sense that when you're perceiving from a dualistic perspective all the time, you kind of fail to see the unity in things. So instead of when seeing hot and cold, you could see temperature, as a unifying factor. And it's that idea that we always, like you said, have to separate things or make a distinction or make a classification, versus things being unified, so to speak. And again, in my personal, from my perspective, when we speak on divinity or when we speak on source, we're talking about things being unified. Like we all come from the same source and the same energy. So I feel like when we move away from duality, we're naturally moving towards divinity, because that's what source is. It's the unifying of all the parts.
Yeah, it's the opposite. It's like, what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's the total opposite. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But it's not, they're not enemies though.
No.
And that's where it's deep. They're not enemies. Duality is not the enemy to divinity. Duality is just a process to divinity.
I'll show you.
That's why I said the shift from duality to divinity, because there's a shift that happens in between here through certain work, through certain, see, the thing about it is that we have to understand my shift might not look like your shift.
Exactly.
We have different purposes here. Some of us have the same purpose. Some of us are aligned for certain things. Some of us are not.
Right.
And so our shift may look different, but that shift from duality to divinity, I would say, is a shift from, the queendom and the kingdom aspect. Like I said, where you're moving in your heart space, and you're in a place where you can feel, and you can when you vibrate, you are vibrating in love, whether it's in chaos or love. It's the heart space, the divine feminine energy. You're being able to alchemize that as a masculine, whatever it is, you're being able to use that. You know what I'm saying? But when you get to the divinity aspect, now you out here teaching. Now you're out here, really like being a light in the community in the sense of, information, and and it may not be through words. You may be a painter. You may go around and do high vibrational paintings, or you may cook this just amazing food, and when people eat it, they just smile with joy because of your vibration that you're putting into it. But you're finding your passion and knowing how to push your vibration into the universe.
I'll show you.
You see what I'm saying? That is divinity.
And I'm out. Oh, I'm sorry.
We can't sleep on the 3D realm and the things that happen here as well. You know what I'm saying? If you, like I said, if you are a cook, something simple as, it ain't even simple, it's feeding someone. If you're a cook and your energy, man, you could be cooking some food and be changing somebody's life.
Yeah.
You could be a cashier.
Yeah.
Just your smile could be just like, man, changing somebody's life.
Yeah, and I feel like, when we're talking, even when I mentioned that scripture, when your eye is single, your whole body is full of light. I think when we're talking about connecting to the heart space and connecting to this place of unconditional love, right? When we're thinking about it, it's a little bit easier than when we're, let's say, out doing day-to-day things. Like I said, if somebody's cutting you off in traffic or you're overhearing something that annoys you. But when you try to practice removing the duality from, certain aspects of your life, and you consider that all life is, how should I say, when you know that all life comes from the same source, you can express the same love and wholeness to all life. So removing that duality of like, okay, that person's good and this person is bad, or I'm melanated and they're non-melanated, instead of all these classifications and calculating in the mind, when you keep in mind at all times that, all things are one, and you can express that love and wholeness, without dividing or separating it. I think it's a cheat code for constantly staying locked in that frequency of love, just to walk out the door and express, the same love that you, let's say, have for nature or your favorite flower, expressing that to people and the animals, but I think that when you remove the duality as much as possible from your life, you really start to see the oneness more in all things, and that being a constant reminder to me, it keeps me grounded, you know, instead of constantly classifying. And we live in a world of judgment, you know, in a world of cancel culture where people are waiting for somebody to say or do the wrong thing so they can classify them as, okay, they're canceled or they're bad, so to speak.
Right.
You know, but I feel like when we remove that duality from our vision or from our mind's eye, it keeps us locked into what we're supposed to be a little bit more.
Oh, for sure. It's definitely the balance.
Yeah,
you know,
man.
so your oversoul and your higher self are working together. You know what I'm saying? So I want to make this clear because obviously we probably know this. It's obviously like I think like it's kind of obvious. You know, all
That's
these
good
aspects
news.
of us, you know what I'm saying?
That's good
All
news. If they weren't working together, that'd be
exactly.
sounds like
You
a
know what I'm
cosmic
saying?
battle.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? Within.
Yeah.
So yeah, which happens, you know, but we already got those. So
Facts. No cap.
this is on the side of help per se of our, of divinity. This is pure divinity. You know what I'm saying? My point is that our higher self still has a duality aspect, and obviously our shadow does. So the oversoul is the divinity aspect of ourselves, and we're gonna get to. Matter of fact, let me show this real quick. So we're gonna get to talking because we talked about this before, but we're gonna talk about the divine matrix. So this right here, this is your karmic wheel.
Okay.
This is a karmic wheel, but this is hold on, the computer's tweaking. All right, so and this is the divine matrix. You know what I'm saying? And so we're gonna
circles.
Yeah, so we're gonna talk about that, you know, in a little bit. But the oversoul and the higher self continues to thread light basically into our cells until our soul reaches the frequency that's able to expand the energy through the understanding of all lessons, so that we continue so that we can continue to understand these lessons and integrate with our higher self and become one with our oversoul's guidance. So you know, we are expanding through the help of our oversoul. You know what I'm saying? We are ascending through the help of our oversoul because our oversoul is able to help us integrate, you know, and alchemize these lessons in these situations. You know what I'm saying? To reach these higher planes. You know what I mean?
Sure.
I say.
Yeah, man. So it's so fascinating to me how multi-dimensional our soul is. You know, that we have all these layers and parts to us that that make up who we are. You know, shout out to the tribe in the chat.
I say.
Shout out to it's crazy. You're right. My mom's gonna say shout out to Rod. You know what I'm saying?
Rod lit.
Follow his lead. If y'all can smash that like button for us.
No, for sure.
You know, help get us out there on that algorithm thing.
I say.
I like that. Rise up like the stars.
Yeah, hear me.
Yes, sir.
But yeah, for anybody that just came in, so this episode is about the shift from duality to divinity, and we're speaking on it from a cosmic aspect, from a metaphysical aspect of the breakdown of different aspects of us, and we're talking about the oversoul and the higher self, and our higher self, and so and really bringing the understanding that our higher self has a duality and our shadow has a duality, but our most divine part is our oversoul, which we're going to talk about later, how the oversoul and the divine matrix or our Merkaba, you know, are one. You know,
Merkaba is a heavy topic.
You know, so how can we go to divinity if we don't understand divinity? You know what I'm saying? So we talk a lot. A lot of us talk gods. We gods. Well, gods is we talking divine. We really talking us, you know, moving and operating in pure divinity. I didn't say perfection. I said pure divinity. It's a difference. Some people will get that misconstrued. but we are operating in that. So with that being said, we have to understand what divinity is, and that's why, like, so these definitions, they say like basically like something connected to God or something, you know, things of that type of stuff, you know. But I would like to look at divinity as pure.
Mhm.
Divinity is pure. You know what I'm saying? When you look at nature, it is divine. It's not perfect, but it's pure. It's so beautiful. It's so amazing in its own right. That is divine. You know what I'm saying? Something that is perfect in hell, which we living in this realm, and we can be perfection. We wake up every day and operate on a high vibration in a world that is pushing
Yeah.
all type of BS on us every day.
Mhm.
That is moving in divinity. We operating in God energy whenever we have people that are pushing, you know, chaos and drama, and we come in the room and be
Mhm.
that source of peace. We're moving in divinity.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But whenever we like, man, fuck that nigga, you know what I'm saying? Man, now we're moving back in that duality aspect
Mhm.
because we are separating
I
us
was
and
gonna
them.
say, yep.
Divinity is me looking at Julio as me. You know what I'm saying? Divinity is everybody on this soul tribe. We are all one. Everybody in this world, we are all one. That's
Because
divinity.
in that type of energy, you really start to get in alignment as well with Ma'at, you know, because Ma'at, as well as being order, balance, and harmony, it's also that aspect of non-judgment, you know.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like when you're talking about that aspect of non-judgment, it brings you back to that kind of, you know, you could call it the singularity, you know, when you see
Right.
all is one and the one is the all, you know, you kind of can't judge anything because instead of seeing the form of something or seeing, you know, the sound something is making, you're seeing it as a part of that unified energy field that we call source, you know. So it's like I think when it's just funny how it all comes together, you know, that when we're talking about divinity, we're talking about as well, you know, it makes me think of as well, because I like to incorporate different ideas of spirituality from different places, and that aspect kind of from Buddhism, that's like Zen, you know, where
Right.
you're in a place where you lack judgment, you know, you're almost in a place where you can't judge anything, you know, somebody might see the worst thing in life take place and be like, we'll start, I shouldn't say be like, but we'll start, you know, instantly condemning and be like, you're terrible, you're the worst, you know, where that Zen Buddhist monk is just observing, you know, there's no,
Right.
because in my opinion, when you're talking about divinity as well, you're talking about just pure awareness, you know, when you're in pure awareness, your mind doesn't feel the need to say, like, let's say you're just observing the sky, there's no need to say like, oh, the sky is blue, right? You don't even formulate a thought. You're just observing it for what it is. You don't try to judge it. You don't try to, you know, classify it. And I think that's really a really important aspect of divinity, because we're obviously in a society where they're conditioning the mind to constantly, you know, make these different separations and distinctions. You know, and it can get really tricky, you know, when it comes to, like, in my opinion, like what our souls are truly yearning for, which is that unity, and that, you know, it's hard to exist in a place of non-judgment in today's times, because you know, I'm being honest, and you know, that's me being honest. Even being on Shadow Work Sundays, like I have to. It's actually something we got from Dr. B. I don't have it on now, but I wear a rubber band on my left hand, and when I find myself, you know, judging or making a distinction or somebody, I snap the rubber band. You know, it's just like, get out of that, you know, so that I can stay in that space of just pure awareness, you know, where my mind doesn't feel the need to, you know, to slip into that duality, so to speak. Right. But it's not easy, man. It's not easy to do it all. Somebody could annoy you or piss you off, and you know, I start to train my brain. When I get annoyed, I'll be like, man, I won't even say it, but you know, I can start saying it.
This is where it gets tricky, though, right? Because as above, so below. So with that being said, exactly. So with that being said, then there can be situations that seem like shadow situations that are divine.
I say always. You know, that's how
because
life works.
the oversoul and our higher self doesn't have a purpose if there's no duality.
A shame.
You see what I'm saying?
Except to just be, you know.
Exactly. That's why when we go from our shadow, so our shadow, look at it like this, right? Look at it like this. You have your inner child
Mm-hmm.
at the bottom. Then you have your shadow. Then you have your higher self. Then you have your oversoul. Or we can even say, yeah, we'll do it like that. You know, and because your soul doesn't need to be merged with anything in the sense of your soul is already here and powerful in what it is.
It's whole already.
Exactly. So you have these different aspects, but you need to merge. We want to merge the inner child with the shadow, merge the shadow with the higher self, and then merge the higher self with the oversoul. And that is making all of them whole. And creating complete wholeness. You see what I'm saying? So all I can say is, Mama, check your text message. You know, I wasn't trying to say it on the live, but you know, she got a poem for us, and I want to see.
Okay, nice.
Yeah,
that would be amazing.
The poem she had for the Adama episode. If I would have been able to bring her, it was like literally she sent it to me before I saw it before. Literally she talked about everything that Adama was going to talk about in her poem. It was deep.
You know that channel be strong sometimes, you know.
Exactly. You know,
that's beautiful. You know, we highly encourage. We highly encourage the spoken word, the poetry. You know, anytime you want to share and express what you have on the platform.
You know, honestly, 90% of the time, you know, obviously it's in the galactic, you know, but it's Mama.
I was saying, and unless it's like highly shadow work related, like, you know.
Well, yeah, because Queen came on her a few times and dropped some gems on us.
Yeah.
You know, for sure.
We might hear something and be like, the people need to hear this for healing.
Man, you heard me, bro.
People might get some healing from this.
No, facts, bro. I say. So, so let's go into this aspect of it. So we're talking about, you know, music and poetry and things of that sort. So every soul has its own song. I'm gonna pause, say lie for a moment. You know, every soul has its own song. When it's brought together with other soul songs, a beautiful melody or symphony takes place, healing the collective soul group in which you are vibrating.
That makes me think we're all like musical tones, you know, together we just make a chord. Like, that's crazy.
Exactly. Well, if you think about what music is, music ain't nothing but vibration. Oh yeah. Just in sound. Yeah. So it's like, honestly, it really is like that.
And it's even deeper because they say that, you know, each chakra also has a tone to it. That, you know, each color has a sound and a tone to it. So it's like, you know, you can never escape that sound element.
And guess what?
I was gonna say, my bad. I was gonna say, you know, Dr. Valentine was just speaking on Brother Rich channel about how every atom actually contains a sound frequency at the center of it, you know, which is like the word that they speak about, you know, that started it all. I'm like, that's so deep. So to actually think that every single atom, like, you know, one of the smallest denominations of matter, has a sound frequency in it. So constantly every atom and everything around you and in the air is constantly reacting to your sound frequency. Like that's so mind-blowing, bro.
Exactly.
And like you said, because that really makes us each like a song, and we're tuning, you know, we're projecting our song into reality, and reality is picking up the tune. Exactly. You know,
but then when we come together as a collective, we become a symphony.
Yes.
And that was so powerful about orchestra. You know, what's so powerful about that is that this is what's happening when we on Shadow Work Sundays. This is what's happening when we come together. This is it is sound frequency that we are emitting right now, a vibration that we are emitting, that is a cosmic symphony.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You know, that you only can feel, you might not even can hear. You know what I'm saying? That is the shift. That is a part of the shift. When we come together and we can do that at a high number, we can shift this whole dimension from duality to divinity.
I've actually got a good, you know, if anybody after the episode wants to kind of read up on, I guess, unity or oneness, we'll say oneness. And I think we talked about this book, The Raw Material, The Law of One. And it's a very interesting read. And when they speak of the law of one, they're speaking of a law, of course, but also kind of a way of life that people kind of abided by at one time. The book is written from the perspective of Ra, you know, what we call the sun, but Ra says that in the beginning of the reading that he is a fifth and sixth dimensional entity that was once incarnate, you know, on the planet during the times of Kemet. It's a very interesting read. It was actually channeled. It's channeled information, but the law of one is pretty popular in the spiritual community if you do a little homework on it. But the language and kind of the tone of the text, it has such it almost is like somebody rewiring your brain for unity consciousness. You know, it's like the people would pose these questions to Ra where they would say, you know, well, what about these people versus these people? And Ra would say things like, that's a distortion you're having in consciousness to separate the two. And Ra's constantly basically tweaking people's brain to operate via this law of one. But it's a lot to articulate, but it's an interesting read if you want to kind of, like I said, tweak your brain towards oneness and seeing a oneness in all things, you know, which is divine in and of itself.
I say. So look, so when we do this, when we vibrate like this, and we operate on, you know, in this energy, it's called a soul group song. So we have our own song, you know. When we come together, it's called a soul group song. And so we are bringing all souls into that particular group together to harmonize beyond the collective karmic agreement. And that's when we get into that karmic wheel, the karmic cycle, you know, because the whole point is that we actually can vibrate ourselves out of our karma together.
Yeah.
You know, by not just focusing on my song, but focusing on the symphony, this soul group song. You see what I'm saying? And we can shift ourselves even, like I said, to shift this whole dimension.
And that's not even on a spiritual level that's relevant, but especially for our people, like that's super relevant, you know? Exactly. That couldn't be more relevant.
Exactly.
Shame.
And so once again, we are talking about going from duality to divinity. And so at this moment, we thread together in love, light, you know, spreading our inner multi-dimensional aspect of ourselves through the illusion of time and back to your soul group oversoul. So when I talked about earlier that, so all these aspects of us has a collective. So there's an oversoul collective, you know what I'm saying? And so it's us, our oversouls, you know what I mean? All in one, the same group, the same collective, but it's our oversouls. And so imagine if we go from the inner child to the shadow, to the higher self, to the oversoul, all of us can accomplish that. And we're all vibrating at that level. Then now we are all moving in divinity. And not karma. See, karma is almost like a curse of duality. You know what I'm saying? They go hand in hand. But like I said, we can't have divinity without duality, because to get to divinity, we have to go through duality.
Shame.
You know what I'm saying? Now, why? People would say, well, why? You know what I mean? I would say, you know, as above, so below, first and foremost, which that is a law. And laws, what do they mean? They mean that they don't change, things that don't change. And secondly, I would say that we could go down a rabbit hole of the beginning of time, and based on certain stories, it would make sense, and that would explain to you why we are in the situation that we're in. But that would take a whole episode. But my point is that actually, because I feel like somebody asked me this question, go within, family. You know what I'm saying? Go within about that question. Go within about that. You know what I'm saying?
Man, King. Oh yeah. I was reading that. Yeah, you already know. Soul group vibration. I like that.
Soul group vibration. Oh, that's hard. And he said that's the trumpets they play they talk about in the Bible. And how many trumpets is it?
It was 7, right? Yeah, right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now.
You know, and what year are we in?
Come on now.
You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, thank you, Kai, for that, because that was very you know, this soul group song is so needed and so important. That's why it's so many people are focused on themselves. You know what I'm saying? When they don't even understand that the cells in their body can't even focus on themselves.
Sheesh.
The cells in your body are nothing without the other cells.
Yo, were you ever a fan of Rick and Morty?
I watched it. Yeah.
Okay, there was an episode where there was a planet that they went to where the whole planet was just one consciousness. So like it was a planet full of people, but they all were like connected via the mind. So like if something bad was happening somewhere, everybody on the planet knew instantly. And like there was actually like a queen of the planet, and if she wanted to send out, you know, like a ray of thought, like everybody would know immediately. Like if she was in danger, like everybody would be immediately afraid. But it was such an interesting concept because I think so then that was cool. But there's I think it's Star Trek as well, where they had like one episode where they had this pool that people could go into, and when you go into the pool, it downloads your consciousness into the consciousness of the whole planet. So like these people will go like to a far off world and come back and be able to download, you know, kind of the information to everybody collectively. But it is, and I'm like, man, see, those are things that would be possible if we were constantly, you know, on the same frequency as a collective.
So me and Cobb talking
about
the
nerd in me.
Did you watch Eternals?
No, I didn't, bro. I love last night. I know.
Look, now it's coming up right now.
I know. I passed out early last night.
I don't even want to share this because you haven't watched it, but I was like, yeah.
You give a little something.
So in the movie, they connect each other to create this one mind, this one power, this one. It basically connected all of them as one, so all their powers. And actually, what they did was they actually channeled it into one being. So it was one person. They was like, you know, we need him. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna channel. So they actually became a collective one. Put all the energy, their powers together to channel energy to send to one source, to one being, to win. Obviously, you know, I ain't gonna say what that one.
Okay, that's dope.
Or not, but that power is what we're talking about. Is that we all have our own, so they all have their own abilities. And it's time for them to
channel it into
one. You know what I'm saying? To overcome whatever that enemy was. You see what I'm saying? And what's so deep about it? Nah, I can't tell you all that. Okay, yeah, you gotta watch it, bro, so I can really go ham on it.
I'm definitely gonna watch it tonight because after this, I know I'm gonna need something to watch.
Because we might have to do a part 2 on Eternals and with Kai, but on Duality and Divinity.
Okay.
Because that movie shows a lot of stuff.
Interesting. Okay.
Even from the beginning of time aspect, we can touch on some of them things and kind of how I feel and what we think, you know, about what the beginning of time really is and what it was. You know what I mean?
And I know you said it's a Marvel movie, so I know it's going to be good as well with the cinematics.
Right.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's see. So let's get back to it. So when we talk about the soul group song, I mean the soul group's oversoul. That's us as a collective. You know what I'm saying? But then we talk about the song group. I don't know why the soul group song. I'm getting these S's all mixed up. Song and soul.
Tongue twister.
Yeah. But yeah, when we talk about that, you know, I just want to touch on this a little bit more because I there's a disconnect in the community when it comes to everybody talks about the collective, but I don't really see anyone trying to come together as a collective. And so, you know,
I don't even hear him say the collective. It's always the culture, you know. But I feel like we need to move from the culture to the collective, you know.
Because that's divinity. The culture is duality. The culture is duality. And
culture's like traditionalism, you know, things we've been doing for a while that don't serve us.
What Kanye say? I ain't for the culture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know,
from culture to collective.
Exactly. So this is the power of operating at our highest vibration. You know, as we talked about before, with the oversoul. And so what's deep is that this is the power of healing, the power of clearing our karmic cycles. This is the power of true manifestation.
Yes, sir.
You see what I'm saying? And through understanding the power and the position of our oversoul, we are actually, like I said, able to alchemize, able to channel, to manifest, to overcome, and to finally reach divinity.
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? Divinity is within. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know, yeah, divinity is not something that is based off of what divinity doesn't have the same criteria as Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Divinity doesn't have the same criteria as the job that you want so bad that's going to pay that money. You know that divinity doesn't have the same requirement. I'm gonna tell you that the closest thing that divinity should have a requirement to, besides something external to you, is your soulmate, the person that you love, that you merge with in that way, or your child. You know, that is the closest thing to divinity. The way you love your mother.
Man,
you know
right.
What I'm saying?
The way you talk to people when nobody's listening, you know.
Come on now.
Things like that.
Oh man.
You know?
I say. Yeah, this is lit. And I ain't gonna lie to y'all family. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. My neck going hard right now. Sheesh.
Oh yeah, you didn't. I don't even think you just let the family know you was not. You are. You are in a little bit of pain.
Man, shoot, a lot.
Yeah, I'm about to say. I was trying to. Yeah.
No, you're right. Just a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Right. It ain't nothing.
A little razzle dazzle.
It ain't about nothing.
Yeah, you know, we out here.
So yeah, so if everybody in attendance, if y'all could send a beam of heart chakra energy to King's neck, man, he needs
and
that.
And healing affirmations, family. I
exactly
appreciate it. I'll say, man.
Because you know that, in my opinion, like manifesting. If you want to test out your manifesting powers, right? Because this is deep, because you was talking about, you know, people being for self. Test your manifestation powers on others. Now, I say that lightly because not anything that would obviously infringe on somebody's free will. But if there's a person close to you, a loved one, and you know something, if you know something that they're trying to manifest, whether it's health or abundance, you know, see this person, see your mom or your spouse, you know, getting that big check or that job, or you know, a firm such and such is, you know, coming into abundance, or such and such is healing. But I found that it's a lot easier to manifest for other people through that giving nature and that heart chakra energy than sometimes it is for yourself. Manifest for yourself comes with complications.
I was talking to somebody today on the phone, you know, a close family member, and they was like, why when I tell people that they gonna do this and they gonna do that, it happened. Or when I tell them that this, I said, well, because when you do it from the purest part of yourself.
Yeah.
When you do it for yourself, you do it with regret, with restraint, with extra thought, when you do it for other people, you're doing it naturally from the purest. You really want them to make it.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. So yeah, so anybody in the chat, you know, if you send King some, you know, I show you. I show you.
No, big energy. You know what I'm saying?
because that you know that can go a long way, you know, for other people. But it you know, it comes down to that giving energy as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you might not have much to offer, you know, in terms of resources to people, but it's nothing to offer an affirmation or to offer a quick visualization of them, you know, healed, whole, and abundant.
I
So,
say,
yeah,
man.
man. You know?
I say, no, that's real talk, bro. That is divinity, because there's actually nothing more powerful than that.
Because you should want for, not to control. I'm sorry. So you should want for others what you want for yourself. You know.
I say.
Because there's no separation. You know, others is you, and you are others, and.
Yep, and the goal is to, we talk about vibration, so we want to vibrate at this soul with this soul group song. We want to create this symphony. This orchestra, this big. We want to create this, and you know what I'm saying. Like, we can't do that if it's only 2 or 3 of us.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we got to really be out here on this. You know what I'm saying? Like, there are some things that's being planned behind the scenes, family, for some things that we're going to plan for us to come together.
Oh yeah.
You know, obviously we don't let y'all know ahead of time. You know, me and Kyle planned some stuff. Me and Julio talking about some stuff earlier. Like, it's some things that's going to be planned, so that way we can actually connect and see each other. You know what I'm saying? Like, because it's time. You know, it's Soul Tribe vibes for real. You know, and I see some people posting online like they're offended if you don't want to like almost connect with them and say, "No, family, I rock with you. The energy that you're operating in is not the energy that I'm operating in. So I'd rather connect with the soul tribe or the people that I'm the divinely connected with, that we are operating on the same way." You know what I'm saying? We have different parts of the body of Christ. I'm not finna go kick it in the root chakra or the body of Christ when I know I'm the heart chakra. I know I'm either the part of the heart chakra or the body of Christ, or I'm the crown. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm one of the two, and I can't go over here and, you know what I mean. And so I love, you know. So I'm just saying, it's time to connect, family. You know what I'm saying? Like, we lit. But let's get it. So let's get to the. I ain't gonna lie. Well, I don't know what somebody did. You hear me? But the energy ain't even like a takeaway of pain. This energy, like, I just got lit though, like a juice. You know what I mean? Like,
I can feel you sending your prayers.
I say, you know,
it's like the spirit bomb from Dragon Ball Z. You know what I mean? You got all the Shadow Work Sunday. I mean, constituents.
It's damn near like the feeling where you forget something wrong with your neck. You like, shit.
Facts,
you know what I'm saying? Like, you know, the energy right there. I say, appreciate it. Let me stop.
Appreciate it. I'll take those energetical donations.
Yeah, feel.
You know what I'm saying?
So when we talking about everything, we're talking about the oversoul, we're talking about the higher self. Obviously, the Shadow Work Sundays, we talk about the shadow. The goal is to unlock our divine matrix. Like I said, we talked about before. I think on the episode with Nick Wajet. So unlocking our divine matrix, or man, for real. And so the divine matrix is your Merkaba. It's the same thing. You know, you might have not heard it as the divine matrix. But I love the divine matrix because, like I said, the matrix means womb. And so the divine womb, it is you know, essentially being born again. And going back to source, you know what I'm saying? And now we have that ability to travel and to do and to go and to be and to feel everything that we desire, pure divinity. And so karma blocks us from this divine place. You see what I'm saying? And so let's pull up the karmic wheel again. So this is the karmic wheel. And so the karmic wheel is made up of all 12 of the zodiacs. Every spoke represent different parts of your personality, as well as different zodiacs and sound frequencies. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to go through this process until we clear our karma. You see what I'm saying? And so, like I said before, this is many different. This is all zodiac. You see the symbols on there. So when you deal with that X, that's a Leo that you don't like, or that's a Taurus. Man, Taurus get on my nerves. Or Cancer, man, she be crying too much. You know, like when you have these there are actually other aspects of you that you actually have to unlock and go through that karma and go through that situation and actually merge and overcome that soul contract.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? And so you see right in the middle is what? The I am, the Ashe, you know, divinity.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And this is the divine matrix. And they say, well, damn, they look the same. Yeah, but without the karma, you've completed, because guess what? This whole time you were moving through divinity, family. How do you think it's possible for us to be able to channel these high vibrational messages, get these downloads, all this type of stuff on this realm, in this planet, while we are still fighting karma? Because we are already moving and on and operating. We're tapping in and out of our divine matrix in our Mercury.
Mm-hmm.
We're tapping in and out of divinity all the time. You see what I'm saying? But the goal is to be pure divinity. It's to be one and whole with divinity. And you see, I love this because it looks like the flower of life.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say it's very similar to the flower of life.
You know, and
it has the same effect, because I like looking at the flower of life. It gives this calming feeling. This is kind of the same way. Like, it's interesting.
I say it definitely is. Definitely is. So I'm gonna take it off the screen, Julio. Nah.
You're hilarious. But it's funny because our background is kind of on the same vibes. We got that
100%. It has the flower of life.
Macabre.
Yep. Megatron.
Mm-hmm.
Megatron's cute. Yep. The whole razzle dazzle.
Give kudos to King for this background. This is a
man, much gratitude, for Source for leading me to it. All I did was set my intention. Mm-hmm. To be real, I was looking at certain stuff. I was like, nah, I just had to step back. We got to learn. We got to understand the power of stepping back.
Yeah.
Sometimes you might be this close to what you found to the revelation.
A lot of times you might be trying to generate when you need to, receive. You need to be in a receptive state to get that.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
You know vibes.
So
I know you know the vibes.
So our divine matrix is activated when all parts of us are balanced. When you're God and light, when your God and light is truly whole, you become God. You know what I'm saying? Take over your reality in its highest power.
Yep. And
so in our meeting, Julio has said, and I think this is a good place to go to now. In our meeting, Julio said that before you were an individual, you were a collective.
You were part of that unified field of consciousness.
Yeah. So expand on that, my brother. That really stood out to me.
Man, so when I even mentioning that, it comes from kind of this concept that I had found online some time ago called vibrational downstepping, and it kind of is the same thing, with what we see in scripture, like in the beginning, was darkness, and then there was the word, and the word was with God. But this idea of vibrational downstepping essentially says that that there was originally this primordial consciousness that just was, right? Where all things are now, all things that were, and all things that ever will be were originally contained in this one consciousness or this one frequency. And that, I think it equated it to light. If you equate it to light, it would be just like one, like bright, almost like laser-like beam, and it's just contained in and of itself. And the idea of vibrational downstepping says that that original energy or consciousness split itself or fragmented itself into an infinite number of pieces, in an effort to understand itself in its many possible forms and to know itself a bit better. But what's deep to me is that we're talking about, if you can just imagine, like I said, everything that's in existence right now, from the smallest, from the microcosm to the macrocosm, and everything that ever was and everything that ever will be, you know, just it's hard to imagine, but just contained in one thing, right? To just see everything that's in existence as one unified thing. You know, I feel like that's when you can start getting an idea of what source is. You know, it was at first this singular point in consciousness that somehow, you know, broke itself down vibrationally into an infinite number of pieces that's still expanding and still growing. But that, you know, it's like a hologram. When you cut a hologram in half, both sides contain the original image of the whole. You can split those in half, and you'll have the original image of the whole image. You know, and likewise, even though there's an infinite number of souls, of objects, of different things, you know, it all has the same source as this single point of consciousness that once was, you know? So I feel like if you can always operate from that mentality that, like, there's a lot of things that you can separate, you know, there's a lot of matter, there's a lot of people, there's a lot of this and a lot of that. But if you can imagine that it was all once just one beam of consciousness, right? That was seeking to know itself and broke itself down into you. You know, because when they say vibrational downstepping, it's saying that initial primordial vibration broke itself down or stepped down in vibration and just fragmented itself infinitely. But for experience, but always knowing that it was still the whole, and that in every fragment or every piece still contained the image of the whole. You know, and that's just it was a good concept to me to represent source, and you know. And really seeing things, because as we know, all things are connected, and you know that's why synchronicity is possible. Synchronicity is possible because there's an intricate connection between all things, because there's a oneness to all things. You know, so I feel like when you get into that realm, you know, a lot can happen. You know, when you realize you are everything, you can operate as everything and through everything. You know, versus just seeing yourself as a separated singular point of consciousness. Because essentially that's what we all are. We all are. We're different aspects of the same consciousness, just locked in different perspectives of time. You know, but if you remove time and if you remove individuality, we're all the same awareness that's just perceiving. You know.
Exactly.
So I show you.
And you know, truthfully, we have to have gratitude for the ability of being able to have awareness. Yes. Because we all can look back at a time and know that we can all look back to a time where we didn't have awareness. Yes. You know what I'm saying?
And awareness, then if you notice, in the middle of those the Matrix pictures, you know, was the I am. That's all we're talking about when we're talking about the I am, is awareness. It's the ability to state yourself, to state that you are being and that you're present, you know. So that I am to me represents just pure awareness, you know, and pure consciousness. Because we all have that same I am presence, that same ability to say, you know, I'm here, I exist, you know. It's that to me that's the unifying factor, you know. In scripture, when Moses came to the burning bush, and you know, he asked God, he was like, what do I call you? And God was like, I am that I am. You know, he told him straight up, I am that I am. I'm awareness. You know, I'm yeah, you know, so it's powerful. It's powerful when you get into that to that aspect of awareness and what it means to truly be aware. To me, that's the divinity, in my opinion. That's the godlike nature in a soul. Sure. It's the ability to be aware and perceive. Because like we said, if you entertain the idea of vibrational downstepping, you realize that you're just a fragment of source that's perceiving itself, right? And we know that because science now tells you that you're made of the same 9 gases as stars are made up out of, or exactly. That stars are made out of. Yeah. So that's literally telling you that you are a byproduct of nature becoming self-aware. So you're literally nature that's aware enough to look at itself, you know, and that's divine, because we're all fragments of this source that's experiencing itself, that's becoming aware of itself. And that's what we're doing every day with consciousness. You know, we're connecting with the soul tribe. We're becoming more aware of these different parts of us. I share authenticity and vulnerability.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's part
my boy, shout out my boy on point, or our boy on point in the building. Say abracadabra. I love abracadabra because you know that the meaning of abracadabra is with my words I create. You know, so
yeah.
You know, that people were like, well, why you should say that when they was doing magic? That's because true magic is to create with your word. You know what I mean? So shout out to On Point, dropping a 1-word gem. You know. Shout out to everybody in the tribe. 10:10 my time right now. So shout out to the tribe in the building. Much gratitude.
For sure.
To everybody who taps in with us for pod class.
So let's see.
Yeah, man.
All right, so we're gonna kind of shift a little bit, but still in the same lane. So don't look at your inner child.
Y'all better send that energy to King Neck now.
Man, bro.
y'all better send them spirit bombs again. Nah, but for real.
Not for real. But, so don't look at your inner child or any aspect of yourself in a righteous way, but a divine way. And I've kind of spoke on this before about righteous, and that righteous doesn't mean right. You know what I'm saying? And just because you do something righteous, you know, to you doesn't mean it's righteous to me. You see what I'm saying? Right. So righteous is a very questionable. It's up in the air. Righteousness has duality. And so you want to look at your inner child from a divine place, because your inner child is very divine. You know, was tampered with. You know, and things. You know, but that our inner child has the ability. We have the ability to tap into that theta space of mentality and to that place of being closer to God and you know, to you know, with healing our inner child, connecting with our inner child and through our inner child. And so when we talk about divinity and divine, as above, so below, we talked about the oversoul, where I spoke about in my aspect how I feel that under the shadow, you know, is the inner child. Mm-hmm. And so with that being said, the inner child is just as divine as the oversoul.
Oh yeah. If not more divine. Well, we shouldn't say that, but it's just as divine, I should.
You know, so I feel like that's why, because I didn't even know why I was led to talk about the inner child. I was like, yo, like, where is this coming from? You know what I'm saying? And I know now. I didn't even know before the episode. But it's because of, you know, law of correspondence, as above, so below. You know what I'm saying? You know,
law of correspondence is always relevant. It almost gets, you know, repetitive. Like how many times you can say, "As above, so below." As above, so below.
I say. Look at my
really
11, 9-11. Jeez.
Okay, time zones tapping in. It's 10-11 for me.
Yeah, it was 8-11 for me at that time.
Okay.
You know.
Shout out to I'm Authentic Me in the building. She coming with that island time.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir.
That's what I say.
And so we're finna wrap it up, you know. But I'm gonna say this: divinity is moving in the energy of law. So
cosmic law.
Exactly. Come on now. Law is something that doesn't change. So, you know, study the laws of the universe, and then study different things and respect and understand certain aspects of our ancestors and certain aspects of the Netzeru, and look at that and say, man, that's law.
And Thoth or Tahuti, some people know him as, used to state that it's through the observation and working in accordance with the laws that you find freedom.
I say. You know, and we know the laws that we always live by, coming from a Christian aspect of the 10 Commandments, they came from the 42 laws of Ma'at. You see what I'm saying? So
they are the European influence, in my opinion, always does that. They reduce, you know, what was, even with Freemasonry. You know, they took 360 degrees of knowledge that we knew in Kemet to that slice of 33 degrees. So it's like they you know, like I said, like you said, from the 42 you know, utterances or affirmations of Mayat to 10 commandments, you know, it's like, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And those laws actually have good points. That's why we respected them. You know what I'm saying? Because they came from an actual divine place. But they put duality in the law.
Because my gets specific. There's some, you know, there's some on the list of my that, like, one is no eavesdropping. So no, like, you know, you might be in the store and start listening to somebody's conversation. You're not supposed to do that. You know, that's taking you out of harmony and balance. So, you know, that there's sometimes where I'm like,
also
man,
mental control. Because you have to be in control to not listen to somebody else's conversation. Because
the 10 commandments, you know, for being honest, 10 commandments is like shooting pretty low. It's like low hanging fruit. It's just like, okay, don't kill somebody. All right, I got you. But like the 42 utterances of my like I said, they get a little more specific than daily life. You know, where it's just like, okay, damn, did I do that? Did I not do that? But
it's the law of the soul, the law of the conscience.
I show you the law of the cosmos. As above, so again, it's annoying as above, so below.
So before we tap out, let me see. Next Friday, family. Let me look at my calendar. Is Intergalactic Podcast Radio. I had a few people hit me up. I was trying to see when, you know, the episode was. It wasn't last Friday, so on the 20th. You know what I'm saying? We lit Intergalactic Podcast Radio.
Yes, sir.
And we got a few things cooking up for y'all these next few episodes. You know, once again, me and Kyle will be dropping EP Shadow Realm. Well, I haven't actually announced it on her, just on Intergalactic, but me and Kyle will be dropping another soul tape on February 5th. It'll be released here on Shadowwork Sundays, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, it's a Shadowwork project, so y'all get ready for that and tap in on that as well. We'll be having a listening party on the 4th. So we'll drop on the 5th. On Sunday, we'll be having a listening party and vibing with y'all, playing the whole project on the 4th. So get ready for that as well, family.
Yes, sir.
And like I said, before we tap out, I'm gonna go ahead and throw the How You Vibrating challenge on her one time, because we need to get these challenges up. You know what I'm saying? So tap in on your TikTok family, on your Instagram, and show us how you vibrating. Ain't no wrong or right video. It's just about your vibe and your energy, and you know what you connect with. So like I said, there's no wrong or right way to do it. It's just, you know what I'm saying? Just show us how you vibrating. You feel me? And while you doing that, put that good energy out into the universe.
Sir, I'll show you.
How you vibrating? Challenge.
How you vibrating? How you vibrating? How you vibrating? How you vibrating? Vibes on Sirius. I'm a vortex like a pyramid. My reflection makes the mirror flip. My curb is my inner shook. How you vibrating?
Stitch or duet the video and show me how you vibrating. How you vibrating challenge.
How you vibrating? How you vibrating? How you vibrating? How you vibrating? Vibes on Sirius. I'm a vortex like a pyramid. My reflection makes the mirror flip. My curb is my inner shook. How you vibrating?
I'm vibrating. It's time. How I'm vibrating.
Yeah, feel me.
Yes, sir.
Big energy. You know, man, peace, love, healing, perseverance. You know what I'm saying? Big energy to the tribe. Tap in with the Telegram as well, family. You know what I'm saying? If you got any questions, you know, throughout the week, you know, you're going through some things, you want to tap in with the tribe. So Shadowwork Sundays 555 on Telegram. You know, if me and Julio don't respond, the tribe is there. You know what I mean? Like, we really a family, so y'all tap in. Also, if you're looking for consultations, you can actually tap in with both of us. You just hit our link. You know what I'm saying? We have different type of some of the same consultations for our spirituality and shadow work. And then just for myself, I actually have podcast consultations. So if you're trying to start a podcast or you want to learn some information about how to start a podcast. You can tap in with me, and then also for marriages, for couples, I have a marriage consultation as well. That and all these consultations come with other things after. It ain't just gonna be one phone call. I don't really think that anything works like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no cap, facts.
So tap in. The link is in our bio. On Instagram. I still gotta ask Kai why he say Bink and Lio. So I'm gonna figure that out.
Wait. You said what?
Yeah, he be saying Bink and Lio or something like that. Like, yeah.
I never heard that. Okay.
Link in bio. He said Bink and yeah, he said it backwards.
Wow, that's hilarious. I might have to jack that. That's man.
I want to know
different.
why. It's hard. I like it. It's super dope.
Bink and Lio.
yeah, that's it.
I mean, link in bio now is like, so cliche. It's like link in bio. You go somebody's bio, which is like a link to a picture of a duck. It's just like
exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Link in bio holds very little weight nowadays.
Sure. But much gratitude, family. Y'all tap in, with your oversoul, you know what I mean, and just show gratitude to your oversoul.
I'll show you.
And and just I would just say that the whatever resonates. You know what I'm saying? But definitely go in on the message tonight and go within, should I say? And once again, much gratitude. And next Sunday, I know I said it was going to be this Sunday. Next Sunday, we are definitely officially Vibe with the Tribe Artist Edition. So we're going to do an intergalactic Shadow Work Sundays episode. So y'all get ready. Next Sunday, we vibing. We're finna ask the artists certain questions. We're finna dig deep with them. You know what I'm saying? Really tap in and see how they vibrating. You know what I mean? So definitely pull up.
Yes, sir. Peace, family.
Peace. Ashe.
My third eye's open, I can see past the commotion. I can't get lost in the moment. Yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah. My third eye open, I can see past the commotion. Yeah. I live on the side with the chosen. Higher dimensions we going. Yeah. Guy, you done been through enough, I would say. Energy different, the frequency change. My third eye is open, I don't see the same.